Welcome back, everybody, to SBL Week 4 Match of the Week. We have an exciting one. Tzim versus Shellshock. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Yuliko. I'm joined by my co-commentator, Chuck, Manly Guy.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this week. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. We're getting into the teams already, just into the meat of it. Do you want to talk about this one, or you want to talk about the next one? It's up to you.
Yeah, I can talk about Tzim's team. So,
Cool.
Tzim's team is pretty interesting here. He swapped out to bring in the Deoxys defense, so it's going to be trying to do more of attrition against Shellshock's team, trying to slow it down. With the Assault Vest, the Scrafty, the Regice, taking advantage of its slow speed in Trick Room and screens and everything like that. So, this is going to be more of how long can Tzim essentially stall out the rain and stay alive. Well, you can obviously talk about Shellshock's team.
Yeah, I will when we get there very soon. I'm curious to see how this Deoxys defense works, right? Because it's the first time we're seeing it used ever, and I don't know if you've seen its stats, but it is a bulky guy. And that T-Wave, the sunny day, I think it's gonna be really good disruption. As far as Shellshock's team here, we got that standard rain core, the Pelipper Archaludon core, which is really strong in Regulation H, for example. And it's gonna be all about, can you break through that Archaludon or not, right? Because that Pokemon is just so good at building up the special attack boost, building up those defense boosts. We also have some other choices. We have the Chinchino, which can be both an offensive mon, of course. It can also side target Archaludon to give it those stamina boosts early in the match to get the body presses really going. I also see we have two Swift Swim Mons in both Ludicolo and the Overquill. Both, having those offensive options, the Ludicolo having Energy Ball and Muddy Water, and the Overquill having, Poison Jab, Liquidation, and Crunch. Interesting, though, on the Ludicolo, we also have Fake Out, and we also have Encore. And that fast Encore, sometimes we see that on, a Pokemon like Whimsicott, for example, right? But, Ludicolo gets pretty fast in the rain. I'd be curious to see what kind of things we might be Encore, maybe Fake Outs or other setup options. If Tzim tries to play too slow, that Encore could really be a big deal. We also have the Quaquaval, which, just has, a kind of standard set Aqua Step close combat on knockoff to hit the Petulant. But it could do big damage, especially in the rain. Notable terras here, I think, is the Archaludon with Poison, which is something that you might not usually see, right? Because you share that weakness with Ground. But I think, with that, we're going to be getting into the match pretty soon. Man, what do you think here? What?
Pretty much as every week has been going for Shellshock and his opponents is how well can you get rid of Archaludon? The rest of the team is already tough enough, but it seems like Registeel and Archaludon are really good draft mons, and Archaludon is just good in general. Where it's one of those mons that if you don't get rid of it, it's not like it's just gonna be passive. It's either gaining a boost or it's getting a boost. So you gotta figure out how you're gonna get rid of it. And this is why I think Tzim has a lot more special attackers and trying to take advantage of that. But the Chinchino can actually get rid of the Regice with one Rock Blast, and you can obviously get rid of the Moltres too. And even the Deoxys defense, it has high defenses, right? But it has only base 50 HP, so it can get worn down really quickly. So I'm more curious to see how he's going to do it, how he's going to try to slow it down. But
yeah, I'm looking over here at Tzim's team, and I'm just trying to see what tools does he have to do big damage to the Archaludon, right? He has stuff like close combat on Scrafty, which is going to do big damage at first, but especially if it gets defense boost, it won't be that great.
Exactly.
The Petulant, it can't use its signature move against Archaludon, even if you force Archaludon to Terra, it's gonna be Terra Poison. That won't be that much. I'm curious to see what kind of damage we're gonna be doing to Archaludon. I think that's kind of the big question here. And we're gonna get started here with the match.
Yeah, my thing is I have this sneaky suspicion that we're very focused on the Archaludon, but I have this weird thing Shishido's going to do some real work.
It definitely could. We see on Shellshock's side, he's leading here with the Rain Core, right? That Ludicolo Pelipper, instant speed, instant offense. And then on Tzim's very defensive side with, that Grimmsnarl and the Petulant. The Grimmsnarl having Light Screen and Parting Shot to lower damage, as well as Taunt to limit Shellshock's options, and Spirit Break as a damage.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of this is just trying to be mitigation, trying to slow down this team with high offense. And, of course, I don't blame him. But, I start thinking to myself, where's the damage coming from? Like, you can slow
Yeah.
someone down as much as possible, but like, where's the damage actually coming from? So, like again, this is like I said earlier, Tzim is going to be playing the War of Attrition, while Shellshock can pretty much just go 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 go. Even if they get the Trick Room up, it's like, okay, Trick Room's up, you attack me first, but I can still live. Most likely.
Yeah, I don't know how much speed will matter on Tzim's side here, given his guys are he's just playing for the bulk. Pelipper instantly switching out. I guess it's not really pressured by anything, but we will see our Calon switching in. I think this is the start of the show. The light screen,
definitely.
The light screen, very effective against almost all of Shellshock's team, I would say. Muddy Water, doing huge damage with a critical.
Goodness.
Oh, double critical.
Double
hit.
critical. I was wondering why it did so much to that. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more
also
sense.
goes through the light screen. Don't forget. So that was an amazing turn for Shellshock, right? Because if Tzim's whole plan is to limit the damage, then that was the opposite of what we want to see.
Exactly. And I'm seeing the parting shot onto the Archelodon and Psychic, so we're really trying to focus down this Archelodon. But
yeah,
Psychic's gonna do like minimal damage. I think I don't remember Deoxys's special attack defense offhand. I think it's 90 something like that.
I think it's only 70. I think special attack and attack are both 70.
All right.
So yeah, very weak here. I almost wonder, because we have the Trick Room set up here. I'm seeing that Thunder Wave on Deoxys. I almost wonder if we're really trying to play a War of Attrition, maybe clicking the Thunder Wave button would be like some more insurance. I don't know, maybe not, but
in the TR, you maybe not want to do that yet.
Right, for sure. I'm just curious to see here. Tzim also has the Sunny Day option. We will see the Prankster parting shot going off, lowering that damage coming from that Archelodon.
I don't think they want to press the Sunny Day until they can kind of pin, like they can control the weather, because pressing Sunny Day right now just would be like, I don't want to say a waste of a turn, but it would feel like a waste of a turn.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, you could block maybe a potential electric shot, and the other thing is that Shellshock might be scared to even click electric shot. Oh, well, I guess he's not, right?
Whoa, this is slower than the Oxys. Okay.
Yeah. It is, right?
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Unless the Deoxys unset trigger. No, it did click Psychic. Okay, wow, the Deoxys defense looks very cool in game, I will say. But yeah, that's Psychic doing minimal damage and just boosting up the stamina.
Ooh, an energy blast probably gonna do decent. Oh yeah, I forgot.
I wasn't sure either. Red Base is very, very bulky, but the thing is, it doesn't love to see that Archelodon, right? Because the Archelodon has the body press to do big damage, and it also has I think Flash Cannon, right, to do big damage. It's just those super effective moves, even though it's so bulky, it'll be big. Yeah.
The thing is with the Regis, it has I think 200 special defense, but like its physical defense is rather lackluster. Not not exactly out there. So it's again like you can get rid of. I think the game plan has to be get rid of all the partner Pokemon next to Archelodon, and then eventually get rid of Archelodon. But it's kind of hard to do that with like Archelodon gaining all these boosts and all that stuff.
And just looking at this Regis's attacks options, it has Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Flash Cannon, which are all not going to be very strong. Mostly resisted into Archelodon. The Ice Beam will be neutral, but okay, we do see the Thunderbolt come out.
It goes to predict the Pelipper or something like that.
Get kind of get some chip and maybe predict the Pelipper. Another Electroshot. So this is going to be a +1 Archelodon after that parting shot. I'm curious how much this does to the Deoxys. So it does about a quarter of health. We do get the Thunder Wave off, and even though we're in Trick Room, this Archelodon's such a big threat. I don't blame Tzim for just trying to get those potential 25% full paralysis turns, right?
Yeah, it's just like right now, like you have all this rain up, you have all these things going against you. TR is almost over. You're not gonna get rid of the Ludicolo unless you double into it. So then now you're gonna lose your 1 TR mon. So it's like, this is rough to start off with. But I do think there are some lines that Tzim could possibly take, and he can use this game as just getting data. Like I bet you he didn't know that the Deoxys was gonna be slower than the Archelodon. So
that's definitely interesting. I also am wondering. There's kind of this mind game going on with the weather, right? Because I think Tzim might be trying to predict Pelipper switch-ins because Shellshock might be pressured to switch in Pelipper if he thinks, for example, I mean, if a sunny day is coming, this kind of the sunny day Deoxys versus the Pelipper, and neither one is kind of biting on that at the moment. And I don't know if that's going to change. Shellshock might just be comfortable. Hey, if you set Sun, I'll be okay for a turn. We do see the full paralysis in the Archaludon, though. That is the biggest reason, I think, to use Thunder Wave on Archaludon this turn. More damage with that Thunderbolt. Now the sunny day comes through.
I think they just saw the right on the wall, like, all right, this Deoxys is about to run out this turn anyway, so let me...
And the very well-timed sunny day for the Muddy Water, he does not take out the Deoxys, only doing 7 hit points of damage there. Pretty crazy.
This might be the turn to double down into the Ludicolo, because, I'm starting to see what Shellshock's really going for. They're just like, okay, my Ludicolo is kind of useless at this point, so I'm just going to let it stay on the field and just do as much damage. Wow. Tzim is definitely thinking, oh, they're going to bring in Pelipper. There's no reason for them to bring in Pelipper, actually. There's just let the Ludicolo get sacked and then,
Yeah, I think that's totally
clean
fair.
up afterwards.
I think one interesting thing is, we can keep looking Muddy Waters, which will do residual, chip. Thanks to the clear body ability on that Regice, it's actually never going to get a accuracy drop, which I don't know if players realize that or not. So Shellshock might be hoping for those. Again, I think it would be perfectly fine if the Ludicolo goes down, and I think Shellshock recognizes that. Flash Cannon doing big damage. That the +1 Flash Cannon, I believe, doing a good chunk. I mean, given a super effective move, it's not that much, but we do see the Thunderbolt again, barely not enough. And that the double will take it out. I was curious, if all those Thunderbolts had been Ice Beams instead, I think we might have been able to take the Ludicolo out maybe a turn earlier or so. But I get the read, right? You're thinking maybe Pelipper's going to come in. And now, from Shellshock's side, it's what's he going to bring in? The Pelipper will make a lot of sense here, right? Getting the rain back up. It's actually the Overkill.
Oh. I guess I see what they're trying to go for, which is like, all right, end game is going to be Pelipper and, what's its name? And Archelodon. How are you going to stop it? Because now Trick Room is over at this point, from what I can tell.
I believe so. I'm thinking maybe Shellshock doesn't want to bring in that Pelipper until the Deoxys is gone. That can't reset the sun, right? Because if we bring in Pelipper and then the sun comes back up, then that becomes a bit of a problem. So if we can remove the Deoxys with the Overquill this turn, and then in the future bring in the Pelipper, I think Shellshock would be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you can't even bring your Petra out here because Overquill is Poison Dark, and it just, counters this. So it just sits there, like,
Overquill
what are you going to do?
Overquill looks pretty good into these Pokemon, right? It's going to be super effective into that Deoxys, even though it's low HP now. It's going to be super effective into the Pecharunt, right? So it's Overquill is a very, I think, useful Pokemon here. We do see the Poison Jab coming out, finishing off that Deoxys at defense, which, again, I think opens up Pelipper to be more free setting the rain here.
Exactly.
And we do get this Thunderbolt coming out.
I'm not sure this Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I think at this point, well, we do see another full paralysis. I mean, I think that's what Tzim needs to be kind of hoping for. Or at least it's definitely helping his case, right?
Yeah, I was like, you gotta hope for it. You gotta hope and pray at this point for that.
Yeah, again, the Ice Beam would be doing a little more damage to the Archaludon, but maybe again we're just trying to constantly keep that Pelipper in check. I don't. Well, yeah, we'll see. I guess the question now is, if you're Shellshock, how exactly are we dealing with this Pecharunt? We have the Overquill Crunch, but Pecharunt has a really high defense stat. I'm curious how much it's going to take. It is a Life Orb Crunch, so it'll probably be a lot, right? But
yeah,
we do have the Terrestrial
base 160 defense.
Yeah,
base
that's a lot.
Defense, yeah.
And I think maybe 80 HP or so. So which is not too shabby, right? Yeah, this is kind of a interesting turn. Maybe Shellshock will finally make the decision to bring the rain back in, which is in his favor. I don't know. We'll have to see, right?
Yeah, that's really what it is. I don't know, man. This seems like more of a tough thing for Tzim, because I feel like Tzim was trying to read the Pelipper read too much, like way too many times.
Yeah.
He could have just gone for the safe damage, and maybe he's gonna take that into game 2. Because,
yeah, for sure.
Like at this point,
we lost a lot of ground, right? Not going for Ice Beams. So
oh my goodness.
Doing more than half and a defense drop, which could end up mattering if the Pecharunt ends up going for a terrestrialization, right? If it loses that darkness, the defense drop could end up mattering. The Phantom Force will be doing damage next turn, but the problem is it can only go into a resisted target in an overquill or the of course the Arcalon, which has those defense boosts. So it probably won't be doing that much damage, right?
No, it can't be doing that much damage. It's +2 our defense Archalodon, so that's why Shellshock said, okay, I'll just do body press into Regice. Whatever goes there dies. So I guess.
Yeah, there's just no switching. Once the defense stat keeps rising, there's just no switching for the body press, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm curious, are we gonna see? Okay, so we see the crunch come out. So maybe this might be a double into the Regice, right? Oh, the Phantom Force comes out, does very little damage to the overkill, obviously being resist. The Ice Beam. Oh,
see, that's decent damage.
Yeah, it really does. And the thing is, after any attack from the overkill, the Light Force will end up taking it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the Regice is gone now, and the Sun is gone naturally, which it doesn't really matter too much. But this is interesting.
Yeah, this game kind of feels like it's already in the end game without it really being over. But I keep thinking this is a game that Tzim should take all that information and be like, okay, well, Archalodon is slower than Deoxys D, so TR is not as
not needed, right?
Well, it's kind of needed for Ludicolo, so I guess.
It's nice for that, but if the Deoxys, the Deoxys might want to prioritize just getting the Sun up the first turn maybe, and not send the Trick Room necessarily. I don't know. It's interesting. Again, I'm just seeing this Arcalon at almost max HP, and we've just been putting Thunderbolts into it, and I just don't know. I don't know how Tzim is gonna ever take it out, right?
Nah, I mean, he would have to go with Scrafty close combats.
Right.
But each close combat you do also powers up their body press if they'll do them to you.
Yeah, so I almost wonder if I like getting the Thunder Wave off into the Archalodon. I wonder if we just need to get the Thunder Wave off and kind of just ignore it for as long as possible, right? And not give it any of those defense boosts, which is tricky, but yeah, we will see the Archalodon take out the Grimmsnarl here. And is there another Pokemon? There's still a Pelipper in the back for Shellshock,
exactly.
I think, and yeah, there's nothing really Tzim can do here.
I don't want to say it's Jover, but it is getting to that moment.
Yeah. I wonder if Shellshock regrets not running the Focus Sash on the Pelipper instead of running the Covert Cloak, just because all those Thunderbolts probably did really not want him to switch into Pelipper, right? And Malignant Chain really not doing that much damage to the Pelipper, by the way. I don't know how bulky that Pelipper might be, but... And we will see.
I mean, it has base 88 defense. I mean, special attack. So, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, not great.
It's doing its best. It's trying its darndest.
I get that. I guess if the Archalon just keeps full paralyzing, then maybe eventually we'll get there. I don't think so, though. It have to be a Phantom Force. Oh, yeah. The stream seems to have paused. I don't know if that's for everyone.
Okay, I'm watching the YouTube thing, and
yeah, it looks like it also paused on it for our YouTube audience. I wonder what happened. Some kind of technical difficulties, but I think regardless, this game is definitely over in favor of Shellshock.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like we're back. We didn't get to see the very end, but I'm gonna just assume that Archalon took out the Petulant with any attack, basically.
Yeah.
So again, if you're Tzim, I'm just wondering what we do. I mean, maybe his plan again is to get that light screen, get that parting shot, but that only into the Archalon, right? But that only works if we can't hit the Archalon, right? We can't give this defense boost. We also can't let it get Electro Shots, because Electro Shot is just going to cancel out any special attack reduction you do.
Yeah, so that's my issue with it. It's I felt bad because it's can they really, start any type of offensive pressure? Because again, like I was saying, this is definitely going to be a game of attrition.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Tzim has the tools in the mons that he brought to exactly do that,
For sure. I think looking at some of his options, one thing that's kind of interesting, he has that Moltres on the team, which obviously doesn't look that good into a rain team, of course. But what you could do is if he can set the Sun up early, a Heat Wave from Moltres could do decent damage. We also have like the air slash, which is going to be super effective into the Ludicolo and to the Quaquaval. And
Exactly.
Heat Wave's gonna be neutral in Archaludon, right? So if we can maybe lower the Archaludon's damage, get the Sun up, get the Moltres in, I could see Heat Wave doing a decent amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's one option. Yeah, I think we're waiting here for the second game to begin. Probably he's hopefully maybe taking this time to probably consider his options the same way we are, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I would be like. To use everything to your advantage. If there's some
Yeah,
sort of reason why things aren't working, like okay, that's cool. Let me
yeah.
scam this, I guess. But
Yeah,
you know,
and there's also the focus sash of Moltres I did want to add because even if we do take a water attack in the rain, for example, we will live one attack from with the Moltres. I don't know if that's the choice. It's just to me looking at Tzim's team, that might be the biggest source of special type damage, right?
it's the only thing that he can really go for at this point. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, um, it seems like we have a
Yeah,
uh,
some technical difficulties maybe on Tzim's end. I think he was streaming the match and I don't know, something's going on. But I
okay.
don't know. Yeah.
We'll just be going through replays for a little bit. So this initial gambit, this initial play, and everything like this was pretty good. He got the initial double crit, which
Yeah, that
if
was
I was
really
Steve, I
that
would have
was
been like,
really
man,
big. I wonder because that Deoxys ended up lasting a really long time, and I know it didn't do that much, but like I wonder how much that initial damage really made a difference, right?
yeah.
Because because I don't know if Decent's whole plan is to just stall out turns, then getting those crits really is a big deal, right? And
And I definitely see why he kept going for the thunderbolts, trying to predict stuff. But you know, at some point, it kind of became like, I think he should just go for the damage, like safe damage and ice beam.
I think I
Yeah.
agree, and Ice Beam obviously can also freeze, right? If we're going for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Ice Beams, those 10% odds might start to stack up, right? And
Exactly.
getting a freeze on a key Pokemon on Shellshock's team could be a huge game changer, right?
Mhm. And one of the things I noticed, he was a little scared, a little hesitant to just press Sunny Day straight up. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, he pressed it, but I mean, like, think about it like this. Say that he presses, oh, say that you about like, press Sunny Day like turn two, and then you bring in Moltres if you brought Moltres to do Heat Wave. That could have easily just been flipped with Pelipper coming in.
Yeah, I think right. If we're clicking Sunny Day with the Deoxys, yeah, that might invite Pelipper to bring in rain. But first of all, we can always click Sunny Day. Like the person setting the weather is gonna have the advantage, right? Because if you switch in Pelipper and Sunny Day gets set on the same turn, then now we're in an awkward position where you have Pelipper on the field with the sun
Yep.
up. So there's a rain back. You have to switch it out, switch it back in, and those switches on Shellshock side, you know, if you're switching, you're not attacking, right? So that just gives
Hmm.
more room for Tzim to get that little chip damage that he might need, or try to whittle down Shellshock's Pokemon. So I think just going for Sunny Day early and right,
Often.
the sun, yeah. I mean, often. I guess we didn't really see Shellshock care that much. I guess I'm gonna say like Pelipper was like he didn't really feel the need to bring Pelipper back in. Like electric shots are
Hmm.
nice.
Hmm.
But again, I get he was kind of okay just sitting there in the sun. I guess he just was saying that Tzim can't do that much damage even in the sun. I don't know. It's interesting the weather war. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like,
Yeah,
again, I keep saying, like, it feels like Shellshock has all the cards in their favor because they can do the most damage. They have the highest damage output. And
yeah,
every match that I've been watching from Tzim, it's more like a grind of, all right, I can wear you out through War of Attrition. I can do this to you and do that to you. And, when it wins, it wins. But when it doesn't, it takes a little bit of time,
yeah.
for the end game to come in your favor. So I'm not saying that you need to match Shellshock's tempo. I do say that you do have to start considering doing more damage early on because Shellshock does not care. Like the mons
Yeah,
that Shellshock has, literally does
he's
not
just
care.
gonna
They're
keep he's just gonna keep doing damage. It doesn't matter. I think another kind of interesting thing, right, is that the another play that Shellshock could go for, which he doesn't need, he proved that he didn't need to, right? But if he goes for like a Chinchino side Bullet Seed, for example, in their Caldon, what is really switching into a body press, except for let's say I get it, like the Petron's not going to take damage from the body press, but Petron's not going to do anything to their Calydon, right? Their Calydon is happy to see Petron, and I think that's kind of the key thing. Like Tzim's game plan, I think this season has been to just kind of use those malignant chains, use those poison gases to really, wear down the opponent. But you just can't do that with our Calydon; it just doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully we get this game back because I'm definitely curious to see what adaptations we see from, especially Tzim's side, because I don't think Shellshock really needs to change much, right? He just kind of brought his good Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sometimes is. Like, you get that in regular VGC, but sometimes in draft, sometimes you just really have the read, or you have the 4 good mons that just can wipe everybody.
It's like, yeah, I can bring you can have this special mon that like, oh, is so good in this matchup, or you could just bring the Rain team that, how do you
exactly
those Pokemon just have such good synergy, right? And I think we've seen that archetype both previously in draft and obviously in real VGC and several formats. Rain, it just really lends itself to just having like great type synergy offensively and defensively, and you don't really need a often prep that hard, right? Like from the Rain perspective, like you just bring the things that are good, hit those water attacks, and Arcalon obviously has great synergy, right? Because it has electric type, so it hits the water types that the Rain team sometimes doesn't enjoy, and it's resists grass, it resists electric. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, Arcalon it's such a good Pokemon. I guess that's my point, right?
Dragon Steel is just such a cursed typing, like
Yeah.
it's obviously not as good as Fairy Steel, but it's like Dragon Steel. There's a reason why it was held onto only what's his name, Dialga until Gen 8 with
Dialga.
Geraldo.
And Duraludon, which Duraludon's probably not that great of a Pokemon, but yeah, Dialga obviously has a great, that typing is just amazing, right? You only have 2 weaknesses. You have the ground and fighting, and which is
Both are usually physical. Both are usually
exactly.
physical. So, like, how are you gonna get rid of it?
Arcalon is just a menace that there are definitely things you can do. I think in previous weeks we've seen stuff like Endeavor can be pretty good into Arcalon, right? And just like taking it down, like not trying to attack it normally, but like having a Sash Endeavormon, or something like also knocking off, for example, the Assault Vest and then doing big special damage could be pretty threatening to Arcalon, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's a few ways you can deal with it, but then when you have the Terra on it, that's also a whole other thing.
I mean, like the thing is, they even have Terra Poison just for like if the Scrafty starts feeling like a little handsy. It's like, okay, well, like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna like press Psychic into Arcaludon with the Self Vest on? Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think the poison's pretty smart, right? Because like you still resist the Malignant Chain. Like that's a pretty big deal, right? You never want to be able to get toxic, because that is obviously that will be a way to deal with Arcaludon. And then, yeah, like you said, it resists any fighting move from like Scrafty. I think the Psychic from Deoxys, but right, what's that? The 70 special attack Psychic is not going to be doing that much damage, right?
Wow, imagine. Like you pick Deoxys D to be a kind of wall, but the thing is that so I used to play singles back in the day, and the thing is about Deoxys D is that it was always used as a stealth rocket and everything like that, but like it has no recovery and it has such low health that like after a while you could just wear it down, do instead of just doing War of Attrition, you can just literally just keep pressing buttons into it, and like unless you have leftovers and protection, you're not going to be getting the health back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's obviously it's a great like hazard setter, right, in singles, and you can do stuff. It has like options like teleport in singles, right? Getting those free switch-ins and switch outs. But like it has a lot of. I think obviously we've never seen it in a doubles form, or at least in VGC, right? Because it's a mythical Pokemon. It has a lot of interesting moves though. It has those weather moves. It has stuff like screens. It has Trick Room. It can. I feel like again, this is the first time we're seeing it used, and I think Sunny Day I think was kind of expected. That makes sense. Psychic, you could run Psychic. It also has stuff like sometimes we see Pokemon that have like no attacking stats that might run like Nightshade, right, to do like residual damage. You might like maybe Dusclops in the past has run just Nightshade because it has almost no attacking stat. The other thing that's interesting is it has like Psycho Boost, right? The Deoxys signature move, which you might usually see on like the other Deoxys forms, but Psycho Boost is like a Draco Psychic type Draco Meteor, and I think I think that could be decent damage at least one time, right?
Are you doxing?
Yeah, a one-time thing, 140 damage. I don't think it got nerfed in the Gen 6 thing.
Yeah, I think it's still 140, right? So I'd be curious to see how much that damage that would do. I don't know. Again, I'm just kind of curious to see what Deoxys might do in the season, in the future. I think it has some interesting options that are unique.
Yeah, we have AJ actually has a Deoxy Speed,
Yeah,
so which actually it has a lot more bulk than people give it credit for, and
sure.
it has high speed. It just doesn't hit crazy hard, but that's not exactly the purpose of it.
Yeah,
So
I'm curious to see that mon too because I think right, it doesn't hit that hard, but it has a lot of coverage moves. So like if you
hmm
back it with moves that are hitting things super effectively, like it's gonna do damage, right?
yeah, I think so. With I'm gonna go into a different lane
Yeah,
here,
go
crazy
for it.
different lane here. So I feel like psychic types, since they kind of got like shafted by the existence of fairy types, because fairy type does everything that psychic does, but better, right? I
Sure.
think they've been going back to having psychic types be like a Gen 1 mon, have a lot of crazy, different types of move pools that you can go
Yeah,
through, right?
coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, psychic type kind of bad, you know what I'm saying? Like it's unfortunately, it gets beat up by dark type, which dark type is just crazy good. It gets beat up by ghost type, which is arguably the second best type, offensive type in the game, right?
Yeah,
It super effectively hits fighting type, but you know what also hits fighting type? Berry.
that's true.
Oh, it hits poison type. Okay, the only reason why you're carrying a poison type is if you're really scared about fairy types.
Yeah, that makes
There's
sense.
other things. There are other things you can
I
take
think
care
I
of.
think that definitely that's an interesting idea. I don't want to cut you off too much, but I think kind of
Yeah.
interesting. It looks like on our stream, the crew in the back has put on a replay from Gen 8. This might be our season 3 or season 2 of SBL. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's interesting to see. I don't know if you see that we've got the
Oh
Celesteela
yeah, I'm looking
with all
at
these
it. I'm
boosts.
watching it.
Very different format than what we have now, but to the audience out there, I think we're working on getting our real stream match back. I think we're close.
Okay.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I do think what you're saying about the psychotypes is interesting. I think the one thing, right, that psychotypes are known for now is just like expanding force, right? You set
Yeah.
the psychic train up, and you just do big damage of. And not that psychic is like the best offensive typing, but it's pretty good neutrally across the board. So like, I think that's kind of like in the modern era what psychic is like, really
Yeah.
been like
Size
it's
spamming.
been, yeah, side spam obviously, right?
I think that was like, in my opinion, that's like a poor concession. I'm just now watching the Dynamax stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't play Gen 8.
Celesteela, man, what a beast of a Pokemon of having the special attack boost, defense boost. And we also saw the lightning rod from that Marowak. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did not play Gen 8 at all.
Yeah,
Like not even casually. And like Dynamax, if I'm being fair with you, Dynamax is a little wonky of a gimmick in my opinion. So I was like, oh okay. I'll wait till the next generation. Let me see what's up with that. So
yeah. I don't blame you. I played at the very tail end of Gen 8, so definitely I played a lot more in this generation. I think yeah, Terra is a pretty solid mechanic. I think most especially competitive players agree, right? Um, Dynamax has its haters, has its supporters. But you do get situations like this, right, where you have these Pokemon that are super set up with all these boosts, right? Because even more than just
exactly,
getting the Dynamax boost is like the stat raises from the moves, right? Those really strong
exactly.
moves.
It's so the thing is with I mean comparing Dynamax to Terra, I think Terra actually might have been the worst one if we didn't have OTS. Like if you think about it,
That's fair. That's fair.
like
I don't disagree.
like
Yeah.
imagine this game without OTS. You're just like there. You're just like, oh
Well,
okay,
yeah, just spend any time on the in-game ladder or the showdown, like best of one ladder. You'll see your random Terra ground or your random, Terra whatever that will just completely catch you off guard and really the difference between the open team sheet and closed team sheet, especially yeah with the Terra mechanic is very different. We have another Gen 8 match. This must be I think this is obviously I know you weren't around, but I think this is SBL season 3. I don't know if it's season 2 or season 3. I have to say my Springfield Battle League historical knowledge is not that solid, but pretty cool to see the Pissimian with that. It is pretty low attack, but the high speed Pissimian and that really bulky. I
yeah.
mean, Gudra. Talk about a mon that I'm sure. again, not that I know that much, but I think it was probably pretty benefited by Dynamax, right? Because you get all those, it's so bulky, and you get all those like coverage moves that like can boost whatever stat you need.
Yeah, Guja's special defense being crazy high, and its defense being okay. Like,
Yeah.
if you buff its defense a little bit, it's actually doing, staying around on the field. It's special attack and attack is like 110 or something like
Well,
that.
that
So
that Gudra
yeah,
I'm seeing on the field has a defense boost, so I'm wondering maybe it has a. I think that would have been a steel move that like max steel spike. I think that buffed its defense. I don't know if that was a partner or him, but that's yeah, it's definitely interesting, right? I
yeah.
It's very different. We also see on Shellshock. By the way, Shellshock, a veteran player, our current stream match, and also from this old replay, we see Shellshock. He has Dracovish on his team, which I want to say, imagine if Dracovish was in this modern generation with Terra Water option. I think that
Oh,
would
I
be
love
pretty
it.
crazy.
I love the idea. I mean, as a person that is like when I found out that Dracovish exists, I was like, okay, let me see why people say it's crazy. I'm like, all right, its speed is kind of trash, and its attack is okay. Oh, vicious rent. Oh, wait,
Yeah, it's
wait a second.
really really strong. And I remember when my first season was season 4 of this, and shout out to Mao in the audience there. He had Dracovish, and uh, the Fish's friend was really strong. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
always wonder because I'm like that move could totally be on like so many more mods, but then they said to themselves, "Yeah, let's actually have restraint." I'm like, Pokemon, how did you like? Wait, what? You had restraint? What's going on?
yeah. So I'm getting an update from the team in the back, and it looks like Tzim is having an internet outage.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's been resolved now. Again, we have the ESPN producers in the back are really putting in hard work to getting this working, and they do a lot of work each week to make this experience as enjoyable for the crowd, as possible. So, I will quick shout out to ESPN Productions for the match of the week.
Thank you guys for having us on again. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for you guys having a lot of patience for everybody. I know Tizem, if he could, he would obviously have his match going as fast as possible. Get it done.
I'm sure both players would love to just get into game 2 and just, adapt or not adapt or do whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, I don't know if this has ever happened before, but I mean, it is possible. Like, we could just, I guess, commentate this another time if things don't work out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna wait to hear from the team, but
Exactly.
until then, I'm happy to yap about Pokemon for a long time. I think people
Oh,
out
you
there
don't
might
want me to?
not
Yeah,
mind.
you don't want me because I have so many things to talk about for Pokemon,
Well, let
good,
me
bad,
let
and
me ask
ugly.
let me ask you this, since we just have a
Hmm.
chance. Given it's your first season in this
Hmm.
league, what's been your experience so far? How have you felt prepping? How have you felt about your team? What are your thoughts?
So one of the things I've learned is that I'm as a just a general player, I'm highly offensive, and I've been noticing that like some people are not as highly offensive. They try to take the more slow route, and I think we're in a perfect meta where it's like we need to have a decent tempo and everything like that. Like I think more attrition stuff right now is kind of tough to do, so that's why I kind of play brain dead dumb offensive type, and I think it has mainly worked out. The only person who it hasn't worked out with was actually Satan, and Satan. He's a singles player, as I'm aware of, and
Yeah,
if I'm being fair with you, Son is looking nice. Like every single week, I watch his replays. He plays like a single player, but he plays like a single player to understand doubles.
yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know who he does, if he does scrims or if he does or if he practices with anybody or just goes on ladder with it or if he's just theory crafted. But
Yeah, I
his
think
plays are great.
yeah, for sure. I think like you definitely have an offensive team, right? You have that Whimsicott, you have the Entei that are doing big damage, but I think Satan also has like that similar kind of style, right? He has that instant
Exactly.
go with the IV, with the Ogrepon Hearthflame and the I think very similar. I think you guys have similar styles of teams and probably similar styles of play, maybe from what I've seen. Obviously, we're not too far in the league so far,
Yeah.
but I think that's an interesting observation about the styles. I think, yeah, some people tend to have like offensive teams. There's like there's a balance, right? I think it can definitely work to go super offensive, and that works a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Um, Especially against like people who might not be as familiar with doubles or like this kind of VGC, maybe slightly less experience. I think just going the instant offense not that the bad strategy can really work. I think there also are some teams that are maybe more slow paced that I think can also really get you. I think it's kind of interesting to see what people draft and like what different strategies can kind of work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll shout out to the guy that brought me into the league, which was AJ.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've known about you guys doing the league. Dustin became part of the membership and everything like that. I don't know how long ago, like 1 season or 2 seasons ago, but AJ reached out to me like, "Hey, we need an even number. It looks like we have 24 people with me being in there." So I'm like, feel happy to be a part of the crowd. Um, a lot of times, actually, I actually do a lot of scrims with AJ
Yeah.
a week before to make sure that like, hey, like, do I understand what I'm doing here and everything like that? Because obviously I know him best at this point,
Yeah,
and
I get that. And that's definitely a useful thing. I again, I don't want to cut you off here. There's a
mhm.
chance that we might move this match to Showdown.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
I've been asked from the team to announce that and see if everyone's okay with that in the chat. I'm gonna that might be our only option. Obviously, I think they've been working on trying to get the stream back up, but
Hmm.
it might just end up being on Pokemon Showdown just for to continue this and just in a timely fashion. So that's the current update. Just trying to keep everyone updated.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let everyone know what's
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Um,
Thank you for handling those transitions. And I'm
yeah,
noticing the chat too. Like, oh,
no,
okay.
that's fine. There's a lot going on the back end here, so yeah, for sure.
Honestly, like I think this season is perfectly good. I just want like I'm really scared if you guys go up to like restricted, like any type of restricted, because I think that's just
Yeah, so just to give you some context, we did a restricted format in um season 4. So that would have been so we're in season 9 now, so you can think about how long ago that was. And I think I think the biggest problem that with restricted format at the time was that there's like a kind of a limited pool of really good restricteds. We're talking about Calorexes, we're talking
exactly.
about the weather setters, and those the kind of the top picks in the draft got those. And I think um some people ended up not, getting those. And I think overall it was pretty good. I'm a little bit biased because I ended up doing that was actually my first season. I ended up doing pretty well by the end, and I was looking to get Calyrex Ice, which obviously is an amazing
Of
Pokemon.
course, we
And
yeah.
so don't get me wrong, I am biased. I liked my team, but I totally get it. We've talked about here, like there are ways you could do maybe some restricted format or double restricted formats. Regardless of if we ever do that, we're gonna make sure it's as balanced as possible and it's fair for the people to have similar level teams. We've been as of so far we've been kind of pushing that off, but as Scarlet and Violet progresses, I think um we're gonna run out of things. So I would not be surprised that at some point we end up doing a restricted format again, but it will. I think our commissioner J-Dog and the others working on that kind of stuff will do our best to make sure that's as balanced as possible.
Yeah. Slight update actually. Seems like we're probably going to Showdown, and I'm not sure if we're going to be commentating soon, but yeah, it seems like we're going to be going to Showdown for Shellshock and Tzim for game
Yeah,
2. I don't know.
I look. I'm not sure they're figuring it out. Again, I think T-Sim's having internet issues. Again, whatever happens, whether it's showdown or in game, I think we'd be happy to still commentate. I assume. So it looks, yeah, I don't know. There's internet issues, there's audio issues. It's definitely there's a lot of moving parts, you know?
Yeah, it sounds. I mean, it seems like Tzim probably can still stream it, and I have to put like a big question mark at the end of that, probably, but probably. But yeah, I mean, regardless, like again, this is my first draft, and obviously I knew about the draft. I just didn't join it because, for one, I was not invited. Two, um, high key. I was watching the season as it was, and as
Yeah.
it was going. I was like, I don't know if I want to. But then when I heard it's gonna be mythicals, I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna be interesting here.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
totally fair. I think usually yeah, I mean, we're obviously very happy to have you, of course. But we
thank you.
usually like there's a lot of people I think kind of that are sometimes interested in and one big like we're having 24 people this season, which is the most we've ever had. Um
Mm.
and it's kind of just has to be appropriate with like how many Pokemon are available versus one time we even did like there were two pools of Pokemon. We had like a split league where like
Oh.
half like basically every Pokemon could be drafted twice, you could say basically.
Mm.
Um, we've had a lot of different things, but I think the league's in a pretty good place. I think the number of Pokemon we have, especially with all the mythicals, all those Gen 9 Pokemon, right? I think it's I think we still have a lot of team diversity. If you look at the drafting tiers, there's still a lot of like really good Pokemon that are still out there, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I've been noticing, like, there's some really top tier mons that are still left, but I've been like thinking about it. It's like I think the way that people were building and constructing their teams, there's a reason why they're not there. Like Iron Hands has not been taken. Like
Yeah,
two-time world champion has not been taken yet. But it's like, would you want to spend that many points on a support mon that can't go fast, can get burned, can get intimidate tripped?
yeah, like a lot of those Pokemon, not all of them, have been tried in the past, and like there's kind of this. Usually, if a Pokemon does well, someone else will in the future season will probably pick it up again. And I think unfortunately, Iron Hands has been one of those Pokemon that people have tried and it's not performed that well. Exactly for the reasons you say. It's like obviously in VGC it's great support Pokemon, but like yeah, if you're trying to use it as your main guy for setup, it's very susceptible to being burned. It's susceptible to intimidate if you're not running Clear Amulet. Um, I think you're right. I think in the past we've also had similar issues with Pokemon like Incineroar, right? Where Incineroar is obviously an amazing Pokemon in VGC, but if it's like a large percentage of your points, then it's not necessarily that worth the draft because you might have, um, you can find support in lower tiers, but we're kind of moving to the point whereas more and more stronger Pokemon appear, like more support Pokemon like Incineroar and Mungus do become kind of draftable. I think that's kind of interesting.
And I think I joined at the right time because one thing that I like is, I think you need a strong support mon, and I chose Wim as my first pick,
Yeah.
and like because I got onto pick 5. I was like, okay, I already know which mon I'm choosing first because like in terms of support tiers, I think like Wim is like top 4. It's like top 3, top 4.
Yeah, it's a very good Pokemon. I actually just had it last season.
Yeah, okay.
And so I think we're definitely in agreement. Whimsicott was also my first pick in the draft when it came to me, and it is very versatile and also has has amazing typing. Just another update for the crowd. I think we are going to be returning to the in-game battle very soon here, which is really exciting to see. As much as I love seeing Showdown, watching the gaming in game is always more fun, right? You get to see the animations, you get like the camera moving around. I don't know how you feel about that, but
Yeah, I like it. Obviously, but the thing is, since my Switch is kind of bad, I have not chosen to be on stream because I was actually going to be on stream next week, actually. But I was like, nah, I'm kind of gonna wait until I'm forced to.
that's super fair. I think a lot of players. Well, one thing is sometimes some players, especially if they haven't competed, which I know you have competed before at tournaments,
Mhm.
the timer can sometimes be an issue because
Yeah,
uh some people who are not accustomed to playing with that shorter timer get stressed on if it's on stream. So which I totally get that. I'm not, again, I know you have competed before at regionals and stuff, so
Mhm.
um but we're getting really close here. I'm really excited. I mean, it's only game 2, right? Hopefully we get to a game 3, right? Like where the players are choosing their teams, choosing their music. I believe we might not have audio from Tzim stream. I think is my understanding, which
Where
is
the audio?
yeah, we're the audio. We'll just keep yapping, so you wouldn't even hear the music anyway with us talking, right? So
Exactly.
I think that's an okay concession to make. Glad to have the match on stream again. And with that, I think the two players have their preparations complete, and we're gonna be in team select here pretty soon.
Yeah, and this is what I wonder, like, with this long, like, I know Teasen was probably stressed out, so they might have not been able to change their ideas and everything like that. But like, I wonder with this long break, how are they going to readjust to game 2? Because, again, like that just happened to be like a prolonged war of attrition that Teasen was never ever able to get like the upper hand on. Like, okay, you were able to get up Trick Room, but Muddy Water did critical damage. You were able to get up Trick Room, but Archeladon was still there. So
Yeah, I think this long gap. I think if you're Shellshock, I think because Tzim was trying to fix the technical issues, of course. I think Shellshock was probably mostly just sitting there, and he's probably thinking, "Man, do I need to change anything?" And like, probably not, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
I feel bad for him a little bit, right? Just sitting there for a long time and just like, man, should I be thinking about the match or am I good, right? And
Yeah,
obviously, Tzim might have certain, adaptations in mind, but obviously he was, worried about technical difficulties. I'm curious to see what both players do here. And
yeah,
the game's starting here, so let's see what's going on, right?
yeah. We're getting to see the four that Tzim's going for, and yeah, it's foregoing a lot of the TR stuff. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play up against Shellshock and how he's
Shellshock.
going.
We're gonna see the same exact lead from Shellshock, right? And is this the same lead from Tzim as the first time? I remember the Grimmsnarl being out.
No, it's the same lead.
Same lead on both sides, right?
Yeah. The only difference, I mean, like, they're probably not going to go for the TR. They're just going for the Sunny Day straight up.
Yeah.
And if I was a betting man,
Okay.
I imagine this Pelipper is going to switch back out to what do you call it?
Arcaladon. Yeah.
Arcaladon like it did game one. Now,
I think
if it
that would make a
doesn't,
lot of sense, right?
now if it doesn't, I am interested how this taunt is about to, hit this, Pelipper.
Yeah.
I think the light screen was better in my opinion, but I mean that's just me though.
I totally get that. I think the Pelipper's main job in this match is just to get the rain up, right? Because I think getting the rain up is so important for Shellshock's team. The damage output is like secondary, right? You have the weather ball that gains that hit hard, but I think sustaining the control of the weather is kind of the game here, right? If you think that Tzim's going to set the sun up, then it's definitely in your favor to switch out that Pelipper. And even if he's not setting the sun, it's still, doesn't hurt you, right? And I think we do see that play from Shellshock recognizing that, where the Arcaladon can come in here basically for free. Even if the sun goes up, so okay, we're going to see the taunt come out. It's not going to affect the Assault Vest Arcaladon. Mostly probably just trying to block the potential Tailwind, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Muddy Water coming out.
Miss.
So yeah, slightly making up for those crits. Never mind.
Oh my god.
Another critical hit.
Like no matter what they do, they just keep getting critted.
Yeah, the sun going up, which is obviously what we were talking about. Again, I would love to say a light screen would have been good there, but the critical hit just gonna go right through that, right? Yeah. So, I wonder. Yeah. I wonder, something like a Leftovers, right, would have been really nice on the Deoxys, I feel like, because we saw how long it lasted, and it was getting chipped slowly and slowly, and I think that item's Covert Cloak, and I just don't know how much benefit the Covert Cloak really just gets you, in one game. We're going to see the Ludicolo switch out. Back into the Pelipper to reset the rain. My guess is Shellshock's probably going for Electroshot here, right? Because even if Grimmsnarl tries to lower the special attack, Electroshot's just going to keep boosting and boosting, right?
Exactly. So what moved it? Well, we went for a Thunder Wave. Okay, so we're trying to slow down and possibly
the interesting thing is the Deoxys was faster than the Arcaladon, right? So we could have clicked Sunny Day there. That would have been an interesting play, right?
A double Sunny Day play?
Yeah, because again, we're seeing the Electroshot off because obviously the Sun were still off. The Electroshot would be a 2-turn move, but it is a 1-turn move here. How much is the Image going to do? The Grimmsnarl through the light screen, doing less than a half. But that's all, all Shellshock really needs to do. Again, I like Tzim getting the Thunder Wave off because the longer this game goes, the more that might end up mattering, right?
So now this is actually the perfect position for what Tzim was trying to get into, like if he could have got into this game 2, which was, all right, I have control of, I can, start up Sunny Day. I can possibly Parting Shot into Moltres and then, start doing the damage as you called out earlier. Yeah. I actually didn't look at this Pelipper has a wide guard, but
I don't think it does. Looking at the Pelipper set, it is just the Tailwind, Weather Ball, Hurricane.
All right.
We're gonna see the Parting Shot. I mean, it makes sense, right? We want to keep this Arcaladon as low special attack as possible. What comes out here? So we have the option for the Moltres. So if the Deoxys could have clicked Sunny Day this turn, right? And that would have been... See, I wonder if Shellshock clicks Electroshot here, right? Because he should know that the Sunny Day is a threat, and if he clicks Electroshot into the Sunny Day, it will be a 2-turn move. I don't think he needs to risk it, right? He could have just gone for, any other attack. Obviously, the downside being you don't get the special attack boost, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're Shellshock, you can say to yourself, well, I'm just going to get boosted anyway, like through either physical damage or anything like that, so I can just chill. Yeah. I was scared. Like, Weather Balls definitely seemed like the most safe play. Oh,
Yeah, the fire type weather ball coming through, and we do see the flash cannon, so he's not risking the electro shot. But that assault vest Scrafty, behind the light screen is not taking much from the flash cannon, right?
Exactly. And at this point, I wonder, like, I mean, I think at this point you just got to keep attacking the partner slot of Archelodon, not attack Archelodon, just. You know,
Yeah,
obviously
maybe.
this developer is gonna switch out, obviously. But I mean, like,
Right, because yeah, there's no way to get the rain control back, and again, keeping the sun up is really favorable for Tzim. And we're seeing, you know, when the stuff is set up correctly, you have the light screen, you have the parting shots. We're not taking much damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right. If we can, the Archelon's gonna be really hard to get through. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
if we can eliminate all the partners, which isn't as hard, you know, Scrappy has Thunder Punch, for example, right? It has options. If we can eliminate all the partners, and I think Tzim can find a way through, right?
Yeah, and I see that they're hovering. They were hovering the knockoff onto Archelodon to knock off the Assault Vest. So when they eventually get rid of it, let's see.
Yeah, the Pelper switching out here makes a lot of sense, right? We want to get the rain back in at some point. The Ludicolo coming in, and we're gonna see the Terastallization on. I think this would be Tzim's side. The Scrafty changing to Terra Ghost. So I think we're trying to avoid the body press damage, right? Because at this point, that's the strongest attack that Archelon has, right? Because this was lowered. We're also going to see the Terra from the Archelodon.
Master play, because now the Psychics can actually start doing real damage after the knockoffs and everything like that.
I mean, it's interesting, right? The close combat now, if that's what Tzim went for, is going to do way less damage, right? Thunder Wave coming through. I like this play, right? Because it kind of covers anything, right? If Pelper stays in, a Thunder Wave is not going to hurt. If Pelper, you know, either way, right?
Oh, close combat.
Yeah, not gonna do much here. But again, like you said, it opens up the opportunity now to click Psychic with the Deoxys, right? And it won't do that much damage, don't get me wrong, but it is going to be super effective. The body press going into the Terra Ghost. So I think that is what Tzim wanted, right? Now he has paralysis on both of the opposing Pokemon. He has Terra Ghost, limiting the Archelon can't do that much damage, right? Its strongest attack is body press, but both targets are either immune or resisted, right?
And the Ludicolo can't even do Fake Out because of Covert Cloak and because of Terra Ghost. So
yeah,
this is a pretty great play.
For sure. Now, I think one interesting thing here is not to cut you off, sorry, but
no, you go.
I was gonna say the Encore is an option here on the Ludicolo, maybe the Encore to T-Wave, but again, the Ludicolo is actually gonna be slower than Deoxys at this point. Maybe if we did something like switch the Pelipper in and get the Rain boost, it could work. I don't know how the speeds are tricky here, right? Because we have the Swift Swim, we have the Thunder Wave. So I'm not sure what Shellshock does here. Does he try to prioritize the Rain again, getting the Pelipper back in, or does he just try to keep, you know, the Archelon its damage is really, you know, neutered, right? It's not that strong. There's a light screen still. So we are going to see, just the Psychic come out. I'm curious how much this does. I mean, that's good damage. That's
especially with the Self-Vest still on.
Yeah, and now the knockoff coming out. And so now I'm wondering, the next time the Psychic comes through, I don't know if it's enough, but it's close. It's close. I don't... It might take it out. And the Energy Bell not doing much of that light screen. Okay, the Flash
Cannon
this play. Doing almost
20?
nothing. I think Tzim is exactly in the spot he wants to be, I think he has the damage reduced, the Thunder Waves through, the Archelon is now taken over half, you know, of its HP, and I think, this is kind of what you wanted. Again, I'm just thinking, wow, if there was a leftovers on this Deoxys,
this would be doing so much work.
That would be a big difference. Obviously, I respect the Covert Cloak, there's fake out options on, you know, Shellshock side, and I get that. But the damage reduction, Grimstar doing a lot of work, right? That parting shot and that electro shot both doing. The parting shot and the light screen both doing a lot of work. It is the light clay light screen, so that's going to last for 8 turns. I don't know how far we are in that, but that's a big difference, right?
So at this point, though,
go ahead.
At this point, Tzim is in a really advantageous position, but you know, a double switch, like if the Overquill is there, like Overquill can literally switch into Archelodon's spot to absorb the Psychic.
Yeah, and I think that might be the play, right? I mean, Overquill, you're exactly right? Overquill looks amazing here, right? We have the Scrafty Terra Ghosted. The Psychic's going to do no damage to it. And, you know, the Ludicolo, the Thunder Punch coming out, not going to do much damage. Again, I still think, that is going to be a full paralysis on the Ludicolo, which Shellshock obviously is not happy to see. I think Tzim's trying to play this game again, where he is expecting the Pelipper to come in to reset the rain, right? The same thing that's happened in game 1.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Like, Thunder Punch is okay, right? It's doing okay damage. I don't know. Like, I think that play is okay to make, right? But Shellshock has also proven that he doesn't feel like he needs the rain that much, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't have to care because, like, the thing is with the Ludicolo, it even has the Kebi up area, so it's like it's resistant to if he brought what was it, Petron for pet poison damage. So like, there's really no reason for the Ludicolo to switch out. It's there. It's already got paralyzed. It does decent damage to everything except for the Deoxys. It's it also has encore pressure, like if you press a weird play or anything like that. So
right,
this Ludicolo is primed to just die.
I totally agree. I think Tzim's main goal here is he's done, he's got it started. I think he wants the reason he's so adamant about getting the Pelipper off the field is that he wants to get that Moltres in, right, to get those heat waves off. I think that's like kind of the big end game, right? If he can kind of finish up with the Moltres, and he's bringing in here now, basically calling the Pelipper's not going to come in here. The Crunch does take out the Deoxys, which was obviously a problem Pokemon. I'm curious to see what move comes out here, right? If any move, right? No, the full paralysis really, really helping out Tzim here. And now he's in the position. Ooh, the sun just ended, though. It would have been really nice to have either the sun reset at some point, obviously, or the Moltres on the field when the sun was up. Because now, Shellshock has effectively won the weather war, right? The sun can never come back up, and he can bring in Pelipper at any point and really reduce the amount of damage this Moltres can do.
I mean, the only good thing, the saving grace, is that Moltres does have Air Slash that could take out Ludicolo from this range, but Air Slash is not going to take out Overquill like that, and Moltres doesn't have the greatest physical defense, so it's like you're kind of stuck in a hard place. And also, the Scrafty can't just press Fake Out willy-nilly, because if you Fake Out the Overquill spot, who knows if they bring in Archelodon, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's another great thing about switching Archelodon into Fake Outs and stuff like that, low, very weak attacks is very dangerous. I'm curious to see. This is a Focus Sash Moltres, so that would make me think that you're running a lot of speed and also a lot of special attack, right? So.
Oh my gosh, he's switching out.
So that is the Ludicolo coming out. Finally, so the Pelipper coming in, resetting the rain, saying, okay, finally I can free to do that. The sun can't go back up. I think trying to lower the damage. We are going to see the Fake Out here. So so there's not going to be an attack coming out of Shellshock's side, right? And there's going to be a Tailwind coming out. So, not a bad position for Tzim, except for the fact that he's in the rain again, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of rough because, like, there's no attack that just outright kills Overquill. Like, not even Air Slash kills from it.
You do have the... Right, so there's the speed, like... Does the Scrafty outspeed the Pelipper here? I guess that's the big question, right? Scrafty's a slow Pokemon, but Pelipper's not that fast either, right? So and you have the Tailwind up, so you could get a Thunder Punch off. I don't know if we have that information yet, or if Shellshock has information. He might want to not risk losing the Pelipper this turn, or he might say, "Hey, I'm okay losing the Pelipper this turn. It's for that Thunder Punch, right?"
Yeah.
The other thing that the Overquill needs to worry about is that if it uses a contact move into the Moltres, it does risk the Flame Body, right? Which could end up being a big deal. I don't know. This turn's kind of is gonna be pivotal, right?
Liquidation.
Yeah.
Liquidation could do. Okay, so Air Slash can actually get a flinch off at it.
Oh, it does get the flinch, and the Thunder Punch going before the Pelipper moves doesn't actually take out the Pelipper though. A bulky Pelipper.
Oh, and matching the Tailwind.
Wow.
This is a great play because even though you got all the damage off with the with the Air Slash and everything like that, Thunderplex, it was clearly not enough. And at this point, this is kind of like it's doable for everybody. At this point, it
is. I think the interesting thing is Pelipper has switched its role now. Before it was all about setting the rain. Now it can do big damage, right? Weather Ball is really threatening. Hurricane is obviously strong too, but the
Heat Wave in the rain though.
Yeah. Heat Wave in the rain is interesting. I'm wondering. So the crunch is gonna happen first, right? The Scrafty actually lives the crunch, right? Thanks to the Intimidate. The Life Orb chip is gonna come through. The Heat Wave is coming through. Is that gonna take? It's enough to take the Overquill. So maybe he just wanted that chip, right? I mean, he's like, okay, that's gonna take out the Overquill, which is like what I want. And then the Weather Ball's gonna come through, but thanks to the Focus Sash, the Moltres is actually gonna survive this turn. And now this is interesting because I think... Oh, the knockoff still comes through. And taking out the Pelipper. So what's left on Shellshock's side? We know, I mean, the Ludicolo is still out there, right? I think.
Yeah, so Ludicolo still out there, and then you have
Archaludon most likely, right?
Then you have Archaludon.
So this is interesting. The fastest thing on the field here should be that Ludicolo. Well, okay. Actually, it's probably the Moltres, right? Because we have the paralysis on the Ludicolo, which kind of cancels out the Swift Swim. So I think the Moltres will be the fastest thing. And if we can get an Air Slash connect into that Ludicolo, I don't know. This is really close. The paralysis is it might play a very big part in this, right? Okay, we're seeing the defensive play. The Moltres actually going for Protect here. Huh. Blocking the Fake Out. Correctly blocking the Fake Out. I guess obviously the Fake Out can't go into the Ghost type Scrafty. And Knockoff coming through.
Okay.
Doing damage.
I'm gonna say something real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
We got Tailwind and Swift Swim.
Yeah.
And you just press Protected. You know what's just gonna happen? We're gonna have the Encore nonsense.
Oh, well, but the thing is, I'm wondering, is the Moltres fat? Because there's Tailwind on both sides. So is the Moltres actually faster than... But it's also paralyzed, right? It's paralyzed.
Yeah, that's true. So it
just depends on the base speed. Tailwind did just end on this turn now, so the Ludicolo, I would say, is definitely the fastest in the field right now. And you're absolutely right. This is where Encore, because, I mean, you have a few options, right? You could also just take out the Moltres, like even with an Energy Ball if you want to be safe about it. I don't know. There's a few plays here. The Grimmsnarl...
You can taunt the Ludicolo if you're scared.
Right, given taunt's an option, I don't think Shellshock should ever go for Encore, right? I think just going for an attack, even if it's just the Energy Ball to guarantee take out the Moltres and no chance of missing, I think that would be fair. This is really close, though. I'm curious to see how this ends up. Obviously, a full paralysis on either of these Pokemon could be a game ender, I think, right?
Yeah. This is very scary. Just like... Yeah, because you don't want to give the Archaludon any more. Oh, double protect!
That is a double protect. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, he does go for the Energy Ball to secure the KO, and getting this double protect is huge, right? Because now the Tailwind's actually going to end on the opposing side. Ooh, Flash Cannon here does take out the Grimmsnarl, and with that,
it's GG's.
Well. I don't think it is. There's paralysis.
Oh, I forget about the paralysis.
Well, so there's a few things here, right? Tailwind's off on both sides. If the Moltres is base speed faster than the Ludicolo, it will go first. And it could get an Air Slash off or Heat Wave, whichever one it chooses. I don't know what the best... Ooh, the Heat Wave goes and it ends up missing the Ludicolo. It does take out the Archaludon. So if the Ludicolo fully goes for the full... fully gets paralyzed here, I think it's Tzim's game, but if it gets an attack off, it does get the Energy Ball off. So, unfortunately, it was really close, but I think, the paralysis it did help Tzim a lot throughout the match.
Definitely.
But when it came out at the very end, he got the double protect, but he didn't get that pair that he really needed. Okay. Wow. That was really close, that end of that game.
That was crazy. It was crazy. Even my internet was going down too, so I was feeling Tzim's pain. So it kept going in and out.
Yeah,
that's fair. No, in all seriousness, that was just a very cool end game and everything like that. Because, you can't just like that end game was like, all right, if I press Air Slash, that should kill off the Ludicolo, right? That's cool. But like, if I press Air Slash, then Archaludon's probably gonna kill me unless. I get to fully paralyze and everything like that. You're not sure about the speed tiers in the end because you're like, okay, my Grimmsnarl has base 60 speed and I know Archaludon has base 85 speed, but it was paralyzed, so maybe I can get a cheeky like Spirit Break. Like I don't know.
I think so we have both of our players back here for the post-match interview here, and I want to say it was a great set. Unfortunately, we did have those technical difficulties, but I think that the end of game 2 was really close and really exciting. Yeah. I guess I want to ask. Let me ask Tzim first. I guess 2 questions here. What was the goal of your Deoxys defense? I think the first time we're seeing that. What was your goal of that? And kind of what was your plan to stop Shellshock's rain mode and his Archaludon?
Well, the Deoxys was for the Trick Room angle, which obviously was a little counterintuitive because I had Thunder Wave, but I wasn't Trick Room and I was gonna Thunder Wave him. So, game one was a tilter because I misplayed. I went to I don't know. The Deoxys was just supposed to be a big wall. I didn't want to do full stall, and the Psychic felt kind of nice to have with him, but and then if I could get Sunny Day set up with and get Moltres going, which that was kind of what game 2 was more like what I wanted, but
yeah, I think here in the casting booth we kind of realized like the big offense that could come off is if we can get the Sunny Day, you know, up, and then the Moltres could come in and do big damage.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the timing didn't work out exactly where like the Moltres came in and the Sunny Day was ending. I did like the T-Wave, even though it was somewhat counterintuitive. I mean, you know the game's gonna last a while, right? And getting those full paralysis is a big deal. Let me ask Shellshock here. How did you feel about the T-Wave?
I felt like I was going up against Adrian. I mean, to be honest, they weren't as many full pairs as going up against Adrian would be, but they did neutralize the Swift Swim angle a lot of times.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked a little. Like, you know, I was like, oh, I'll outspeed. I'm like, no, but I'm paired. But yeah,
can't poison your team either very well, so.
Yeah, exactly, and especially with that Kevia Berry, I wasn't super scared of Pecharunt. I was most scared of Scrafty, definitely.
Yeah.
And then I knew you'd bring Scrafty game 2, and I was like, how do I, you know, just play around that?
I think the speed game was really interesting, right? Because you have the Swift Swim, but you have the pair that cancels us out, and you have like the Focus Sash Moltres. You have Tailwind on both sides, right? So it's very convoluted. I want to talk about one specific turn where you guys both Terastallized. It was the Terra Ghost on the Scrafty, and it was the Terra Poison on the Archaludon. Let me ask you, Shellshock, I mean, you obviously have the risk where you become weak to Psychic. Were you okay, like, accepting that risk, or how did you feel about that?
I was, because in all my calcs, you know, I thought Scrafty was going to do a crazy amount of damage, and then it hit, and then I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have, or maybe I shouldn't have Terastallized. But, but I mean, yeah, Tzim was threatening, you know, 3/4 of my health, especially since I didn't have any stamina boost. So I definitely think the pair was the right play. I mean, that thing was taking a lot of damage from those Psychics, which kind of sucked. But, you know, I kind of realized half the time it was that thing's a threat to my team. I need to get it out. It's setting Sunny Day and T-waving me. And then the other half of the time was that thing is doing no damage to my team. I don't really care about it. And so it was like I kind of had to balance both, because it's like once Arc Terastallized, it was doing damage and I need to get rid of it. But then, you know, game 1, I ignored it and it was decently fine. So it was just, depending on how you play it.
One thing I noticed was
crits too, buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy, water turn 1 crits. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, that was crazy.
Even after the long ass pause, I was like, god damn, man. What the fuck?
God damn. I mean, fair. I mean, your end of game 2 made up for that one.
Dude, I played to my outs. I had to air slash you and flinch you. I had to double protect. Like, I don't know.
Those were your outs, and you got them.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I don't fucking. It's still just I was like, god damn, repeat of game 1, but. I don't know.
I mean, game 2 was really close. I was shitting myself. I did not want full parried, dude. If I got full parried, I think anywhere, I lost.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I mean, I don't know if like trying to pair punch you with Moltres would have been the better option, or I don't. The final turn was kind of, and then the Thunder Punch not killing the Pelipper. I was very shocked. I was like, god damn.
No, I was shocked. Well, I wasn't. I mean, I assumed that would kill, and then I assumed that was just the end of the game. But then after the amount of damage it did to Arc, I was like, there's a chance this thing doesn't kill, because like Tzim may just have no investment in it.
I mean, I have some attack, so that's why I was like,
fair.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Like, I mean, it's a bulky Arc, but still.
Well, no, I'm talking about Pelipper.
Punches. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a bulky Pelipper as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bulky Pelipper was a pretty big deal. I don't think we should go too long here, just given how long the match was. I guess real quick, Chuck, is there anything you wanted to ask the competitors?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I really like Jax's D. This is the first time we're getting to see it in competition, and I did like the Covert Cloak choice. Like, I understand you trying to avoid the fake out stuff, but it's it apparently lives so long that, like, at some point I was thinking to myself, like, I think Yuliko, you kept saying it's like, maybe leftovers might have been really good at this situation. I don't know, but Jax's D, so long as it's not getting critted, like it did. It seems like a really good stalwart mon that you can really control the tempo of the game, and I look forward to seeing more of that. Shellshock, continue mowing down opponents in the rain, keep soaking everybody up. So I like seeing all of your matches.
To be
Both of
honest,
you
Tzim,
guys.
I thought you were bringing Lantern. I thought you were bringing Lantern, either Volt Absorb or Water Absorb. I
Yeah,
was scared of that thing.
I thought it was funny to grab this week just because of
I
that.
know. I was like, God damn, my boy's counter teaming me. What the hell?
Yeah.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, and I thought Reggie Ice would have been a little more clutch, which he wasn't doing horrible. He was tanking it, but yeah, just
fair. If that thing
like,
went freeze dry, I think you would.
that's what I was about to
would've had
say. If I had freeze dry, it would have been a way different scenario. But
yeah. Ah, fuck. There was something I was wanting to say, but I can't think of it.
oh, and then game one, I had the signature in game moment where I pressed Terra, cancel my moves, and then I thought the thing was I swore I repressed it because when you crunched my Petron, I'm like, why the fuck am I not electric Terra? So, and then I forgot about the defense drop, and yeah, I was blundering like crazy game one. So, but
well, yeah, that defense drop was cool, but that thing was doing crazy damage.
No, I know. Yeah, like I said, I blundered big time and then played way better game two. But
I will say in prep, this is like last point. In prep, the thing I was most scared of was Covert Cloak Deoxys. I was like, I can't fake it out. That thing's probably gonna set Sunny Day on me, and I can't really do much about it. And then I saw it, and I go, oh, okay, well.
You didn't even try to fake out Grim Snarl either. Any of those games, like you just muddy watered or whatever too. So
yeah, because I was like, I just want to get damage at this point. Like it was one of those things. And then also like I would have faked out Grim Snarl so that you couldn't taunt, but then there was always the threat of Trick Room going up. For my Tailwind, so then I was like, I can't Tailwind either, so it was just kind of like scary both games.
Yeah. I was trying to call the Pelipper switch.
I think overall it was a very, very close set, very interesting set. Just to wrap it up, I think great stuff from both of you guys. Congratulations, Shellshock. Next week we have the week 5 Trip versus Dustin, so make sure everyone in the audience come back for that. That's gonna be an interesting one, I think. And with that, I think unless anyone has any closing thoughts, I think we're good.
Oh, GG, Ethan. Good games.
GG. That was a pisser of a match.
Yeah, it was a banger.
All right. See you guys.
I'll go, everybody.
See ya.